Welcome to Hollywood Approved with Kristen and Yael. Each episode is an exploration of taste as we dive into the good, the bad, and the unexpected in TV and movies. Tune in for the celebrity guests, stay for the surprising recommendations. Plus, we get creative with modernizations and fan casting some of our favorites. This is Hollywood Approved.
Hello. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. We are reflecting on some of our favorite stuff from this year. Plus, we are looking ahead to the final shows and movies coming out in 2021. So we have no guests joining us and no fan casting, but lots to talk about still.
Mhm.
So let's jump into it. Kristen, what are some of your favorite shows that and movies that came out in 2021?
Well, the first one I want to start with is Cruel Summer. I feel like we talked about it a lot here and just on the Hollywood Critics Association channel. We even got a chance to interview some of the cast members. And what I think was so fun about Cruel Summer is I love a mystery. So, first of all, if something's a mystery, I'm already like, yes, okay, how can we like piece this together? But they also filmed it so uniquely because they had to basically film three different years in the 90s all at the same time and kind of be switching in and out of like wigs and costumes and different things like that, which I thought was really fun and unique. And I think even still by the end of the season, you're like, wait a minute. I think there's still some more stuff going on here, some more mystery to dive into. So I'm excited for their second season. And, I just really love Olivia Holt and Chiara Aurelia. I think that they're really strong actresses, and to see the two of them going off of each other and kind of having this like, friendship rivalry like situation going on was just so much fun. It was just such a dark, twisty mystery.
You know
Yeah.
what's funny about that show? I gave it a couple episodes and I did not get into it.
Hmm.
That said, I know that you are such a big fan, and Cruel Summer actually won a TV award with the Hollywood Critics Association TV Awards. So I think I think it's gonna end up being my winter break binge. Like I think I have to give it another shot because so many critics absolutely love that show.
And I don't know, there's something about like the color palette of that that I feel like feels like a good winter mystery to like get into. So I hope you give it another try. Maybe you're like, oh, maybe I do like it.
Yeah.
What's one that you loved this year?
Honestly, I have to tell you guys, I've brought this up quite a few times throughout the year. Leverage Redemption. This is a revival, a reboot, a resurgence, chapter two, as I've been calling it, of the original series of Leverage, which aired on TNT and got canceled, and it came back in such a beautiful way that it like has grown with the world. It has evolved and matured, which is so nice, but it still has that like fun, playful vibe that was in the original series and so beloved. So if you like Ted Lasso, for example, for the wholesomeness of it, like this show has that wholesomeness, not to Ted Lasso's extreme, but it's so nice that at the end of Leverage Redemption, every episode, you're like the bad guy got what they deserved and our world is better now, and it's just so lovely. So yes, I will not shut up about Leverage Redemption. The first season available. Who knows if there will be a second,
I
but
love though that they like brought it back and you still enjoyed it, that they didn't like, mess with what worked.
yeah, and not just that, they like built on what worked. They gave us, in the original series, there's a ship and people loved this ship. And a lot of shows will, to add drama, will have, fights or time has passed and now they're no longer together or something is happening, in the series because Aldous Hodge is in the series, but he's also currently becoming a huge movie star. So they like worked it into the schedule. And instead of having it be like a point of contention that he left, they were like, no, our couple is solid. The issues that they deal with, the drama is external. And that's just so original. I know that sounds like so silly and very much like the real world, but in TV, you don't see that often.
It's true, like, I feel like every show or movie you watch, like if there's not some kind of relationship drama, it's like, what are you watching for? And it's like, well, not every relationship has to have drama in it. It can just be other stuff is going on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Alright, what other shows did you love that came out this year?
I gotta give a shout out to Jorge R. Gutierrez with Maya and the Three. I feel like I've just been obsessed with him and all his work since this came out. Like I've gone like back and rewatched the Book of Life. I actually bought both art books for this show and that. The one for this show didn't come out yet. So it's just pre-ordered, but I just got like the Book of Life one literally as I finished rewatching that movie. And I just think that what I love so much about Maya and the Three is that like first of all, it's this beautiful story of a warrior princess in like Mesoamerican, like Latino kind of culture that we don't always get to see. Um, but it also like has these really like heartwarming moments of like people that are on the outside realizing that what other people perceive as their weakness, what they're perceiving as their weakness is actually their strength. And they kind of come together as this found family, which I really loved. But also, you can just tell that Jorge R. Gutierrez put so much of his own life and his own, interests and things into everything that he does. Like there are so many Easter eggs that in this show that go back to the Book of Life, that go back to like his first ever short film that he ever did, or like this cool VR short that he did. There's like songs, or there's like themes and motifs, or characters even, or even certain lines that they like bring back, and he's like kind of building this whole like like early Mexican mythology world that like you might be seeing like these certain characters, and then you see like their reincarnated versions, or you see like their siblings, but it's like kind of diving into like the gods of Mexican culture. So if you're like a fan of like Greek mythology and things like that, like you might find this really fascinating, because it's just like I feel like a culture that we don't see that much, but it has a lot of similarities to those things. And the fact that he dives so deep into it, like I'm just fascinated. Like I'm a person that loves Easter eggs and mysteries in general, but like to see that he put so much of his own little mini things in there, I'm like, oh, I love it. Oh, I like to find it. It's so fun.
I love that. I was flipping through Netflix and I saw like a clip for it. You know how they do that sometimes instead of the trailer? And I was like, "Oh, this is the thing that Kristen's been talking about." And it looks great and I intend to watch it. Like I've seen this artist's work before and I'm very excited about this and I would love to
Yeah.
check this one out.
It's just such unique art too. Like you can just see like there's nobody doing art like that in like
Yeah,
mainstream, media. Oh, it's so beautiful. It like
it
makes you want to
really
like
is.
learn more.
Yeah.
All right, what about you? What's another one for you?
Another one for me is WandaVision. I will say of all of the Marvel shows, as much as Loki was fun, WandaVision is the one that excited me the most. I was most looking forward to it because I am such a TV fan. That's what we're here to talk about. So like to see the different genres, to see Elizabeth Olsen really capture the different styles of the eras was amazing. And then, to have this beautiful story about grief, which is so relatable to a lot of people. It was just so well done and so beautiful and so self-contained, which I really enjoyed. And, it was the thing that at least for me, I saw every week people were dissecting every frame of the show, and it's such a weird phenomenon, and it was just so beautifully well done.
Yes.
What did you think of WandaVision? You watched it, right?
Yeah, that was one that it was fun to deep dive into it and dissect it. I mean, I think it had a little bit of a flaw in that everything you were dissecting, like, didn't really amount to anything.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's your fault, not the show's.
not yeah, I didn't go as far as some other people, but, like, to hear their theories, I was like, "Oh, shoot, is this really gonna" okay, never mind. We're not actually going that deep. But even just the little Easter eggs to, like, little, like, masks that were hidden in, like, the different opening frames and stuff, like, that stuff was really cool to see. And like you said, I loved, like, it was sort of like a celebration of television, and I think it also, uh, changed how people were watching things because it was like such a big show that everyone was watching week to week that it felt like, whoa, are we going back in time to like the 90s and early 2000s where like people actually watched shows week to week instead of binging them and
Yeah.
like, people talked about them and had those like water cooler moments like whoa this is crazy. um so I think it was a really great like strategy for Marvel to do that. And I think now we're seeing everybody's kind of experimenting more with how they're dropping things, whether it's like, one episode at a time or three at a time, or let's drop four and then drop one each week. And like everyone's trying all crazy things now to like see if they can capture people's attention.
Yeah.
But I do think, like you said, to be able to see like Elizabeth Olsen and like just come into this role and like give us something that we haven't seen from her or from from her character or Vision's character was so exciting because they didn't really have that much to do in the Marvel movies, and like
Right.
we really got to like see them in like a really fun, you know, sitcom-y way. And that's the kind of stuff at Marvel that I love when they do that fun stuff. I'm just a fan of like the goofiness of comics versus like the super, deep
Yeah.
like actioniness. Like the action's fun too, but I love when they're funny.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, and what else do you have from this year that you loved?
Oh my gosh, I'm loving Chucky. I'm loving Chucky. I always was afraid of Chucky, and I didn't realize that actually he's more of like a comedy slasher type of guy. Um, I went on like a whole journey where I rewatched all the movies, and I say rewatched when I probably have maybe only seen one or two before. But like I watched all of them and then went into the show, and the show kicks off like where the last movie ended.
Right.
Um, and I think the show's better than the movies because they're like diving into this new story, but also giving you all the background on who Charles Lee Ray was before he became the doll Chucky. So
Mhm.
you get to go back to his childhood, you get to go back to his first kill, you get to go back to when he met Eddie Caputo, who was his like little partner in crime. I think coming up we're gonna probably go back and like learn how he met Tiffany and things like that. And they're just like going back to all those like key moments and showing you what happened there. And then also telling you this story of how like the people from the past are coming together with the people from the present to try to defeat Chucky. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like it's so fun. There's so many Easter eggs, which obviously, as I've said 100 times, I love the Easter eggs in everything. And it's just really it's just fun. So
That's really cool because, as you know, I don't like scary, but I love continuity. So the idea that they're like tying everything together, I'm like, ooh, maybe I do want to check this out just because I really enjoy things making sense.
yeah.
And I wasn't aware that they hadn't shown the part whatever led up to Chucky becoming Charles becoming Chucky.
Yeah. No, we had never really seen that. All you saw was well, I mean, you saw him in the first movie like running into this doll toy store and then transferring his soul into Chucky's, but what happened all before then? How did
Oh,
he meet his like guy that was his partner? How did he meet Tiffany, who we later meet in the fourth movie as like the bride of Chucky? What made him a killer? And so they go back like
interesting.
all the way. And that to me is I mean, there's some people that don't care about that stuff, but I love to learn like
How do
back.
you not yeah, how do you not care why a killer is a killer? The whole
Yeah.
point.
But what they did that was really fun was, I feel like a lot of times they make villains where it's like, well, they're not really a villain. They're like, the anti-hero. And it's like,
Yeah,
no, like he's a villain. Even in his original kill, you're like, oh my God, this is messed up. Okay.
yeah,
But yeah,
nice.
I recommend it. I don't think it's necessarily as scary um I think it's a little bit funnier
Okay,
than it seems. Yeah. All right. What about you? Your
alright.
last one.
My last one that I wanna talk about is Free Guy. I was so excited about this movie for the last however many years it was supposed to come out. I had been waiting for this. It just seemed so silly and fun, and then it came out, and it's actually even better than I could have expected. Like, I had been waiting for it, but my expectations were so low because no one else seemed to care. Like, no one I knew was like, "Oh, yeah, didn't that already come out?" Like, everybody did not care, and then it came out, and it was so great. And I feel like it is the perfect, like, first Marvel, Disney, Fox Star Wars compilation. It is the like first one to come out and be like, "Hey, we're all one big family," because it is a Fox movie, um, and now it is owned by Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. So like all of it's now under one roof, and it's just such a beautiful way to like announce that, and like give this like love to video games and the idea that like video game movies and video games like it's all the same beautiful world. So
Mhm.
it was just so good. Have you seen Free Guy?
Well, no, not really, but sort of. I this was one that I was most anticipating. I was like so anticipating. And then I don't know, ultimately I didn't get to see it in theaters, so then like by the time I got to see it, every time I like start it, I just like get distracted. And so I've got like halfway through and I haven't been able to finish it.
I'm so disappointed.
I
Sit down
know.
and watch this movie. I love it so much that when I was at New York Comic Con, they had guys, plurals of guy, around the convention center. And if you posted a picture with them, they gave you a free digital download. And I was busy working, so I had to send someone to go get me a free digital download.
Too funny. I mean,
Usually I'm like, well, I'll miss out. But this year I was like, I have to get this. I need to own this movie.
mhm, mhm. I mean, it does seem like, Ryan Reynolds doing, like, his great Ryan Reynolds thing, that's so fun.
Yes.
So, I think it was just one of those, like, I waited too long to see it, and now I'm like, I don't know if I feel like it right now," but I think I need to sit down and be like, "No, I'm watching this because I
Yes.
do love Ryan Reynolds, and this was one of my most anticipated movies. So
Well, speaking of anticipation, let's move on to what we are looking forward to in the next month or so, because we only have what, like 2 months, less than 2 months left of the year.
oh my god, Yale, the year is almost over. I feel like it just started.
I know. It's been a wild time. All right. Start us off. What do you got?
All right, so I cannot wait for Yellowjackets. This is a new show coming to Showtime that looks insane. It's basically like I love a survivor type of show, and so this is about these like girls that are on a very elite soccer team, are supposed to like travel to a competition, and their plane crashes in some wilderness, and now they have to like survive, but it's like really like intense Lord of the Flies type of survival. But then at the same time, so this is like happening in 1996. At the same time, we're flashing back to 2021 when some of those people have made it out, and now they're trying to keep everything that happened then a secret. And I don't know, I feel like there's like little potentially hints of like some supernatural stuff going on. It's definitely like very, very intense. And there's so many great people in it. You have oh my gosh, who is in it?
Oh, you have Christina
Christina
Ricci.
Ricci.
You have Jasmine Savoy Brown. You
Mhm.
have Melanie Linsky. Like
Yeah, there's so many good
so
people.
many people. Honestly, I've been waiting for this show as well because of the cast. Like I didn't know anything about it. I just knew the cast list. Brianna, oh, I don't remember her name. Uh, from Agents of Shield and
Mhm.
Supergirl. There's just so many amazing people who are going to be in this. And now you're describing the plot to me, and I'm like, wait, isn't this the Wilds? Isn't that the same story as the
No,
Wilds?
okay, but that's why I like the Wilds too, but it's very different, like, way, way darker, and I guess the
Darker than the Wilds? That was dark.
no, it's gonna be really dark. It's gonna be really dark. But I didn't know anybody else was like excited about it. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're interested in watching it too. I feel like I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it, but it looks so incredible. And I think The Wilds was more like they're on this island, but like they've been put there kind of for a reason, and like they flash back to what happened. This is like we're following like these two timelines of these people, and like ugh, it's gonna be intense. I can't wait. I can't
I'm
wait.
so excited. Honestly, the I just saw not even a trailer. I saw like little clips of the different characters to see who was the younger versions of who. Um, and that got me so stoked for this. Oh, what a good one.
Yes.
We'll definitely be here telling everybody what we think when we get it.
Yeah, totally. What about you, Yale?
I'm actually really excited about King Richard, which is the Will Smith movie about Venus and Serena Williams. As people know, I'm not a big sports person, but I think that Venus and Serena Williams are so amazing and just so like not just a wonderful sports athletes is the word I'm looking for. Um, they're yes, they're amazing athletes, but like they're so powerful and such great role models and so inspiring, and I can't wait to learn their story, because they're pretty freaking cool, and the fact that, like, we're making this movie and they're involved in it, which I always feel like if we're telling someone's story, I want them to be involved in the movie,
Mhm.
and Will Smith, I right now, my hesitation is why is a movie about Venus and Serena Williams about their father? Like, that's where I'm at. But I'm sure once I see it, I will understand why it's
Mhm.
about him. Because, if they're involved in it, then I'm sure they've decided that this is the way they want to tell it. I'm really
Totally.
excited about this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, Will Smith, he's an an iconic guy, so,
yeah.
I feel like everything he touches is usually pretty good, so yeah.
Yeah, when he does drama, it just is so great. And so I'm
Mhm.
excited for that.
Yeah, he really does have the range.
Yeah. All right, what else you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Encanto, another, animated Disney movie coming our way. This one is set in Colombia, and it's about like this family that everyone has extraordinary powers because of their house, except for one girl, and she's going to end up being like the chosen one essentially to like help everybody when the magic starts disappearing. And I love a musical. I love any type of, if we're gonna represent Latinos in some kind of way, I want to know about it. Like learning about all these cultures is so interesting. Um, I want to see like what is it going to be like to see them bring the Colombian culture to life. Of course, there's music from Lin Manuel Miranda, who I'm a big fan of. So, I think it's just going to be an exciting project, and I do feel like there have been a lot of really cool Latino-led projects this year. So I'm just hoping like this is like the beginnings of our wave coming in.
You know what? This movie, up until yesterday, I'd not heard of it. And then I saw a trailer for it. And I was like, how is this not being promoted more? Because it's magic, which I love. It's a musical, it's a Disney musical. Like, how has this not been promoted more? Because it looks very fun. And I'm excited about this, but I genuinely hadn't even heard of it until yesterday.
Whoa, I'm shook. I feel like I've been hearing a lot about it, but maybe that's because I like am following a lot of people that are like waiting for more Latino representation. So the minute we see it, we're like, yes, let's share it, share it.
Yeah, I I'm someone who watches television. I'm one of the few people who pays for cable, and so like was the first time I saw a commercial for it was on TV yesterday. It's
Wow.
weird.
And they got to put up some more ad dollars over there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, tell
Um,
me another one that you're excited for.
Oddly, another movie, and it is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Because this was screened at New York Comic Con, and the people who got to see it were like so excited, and I heard amazing things. I've just heard positive things about it. I thought it looked scary. It looked scary to me, but it is part of the Ghostbusters world, and or at least it is supposed to be a continuation of the original series, the original Ghostbuster movie series, not the what I think was a sufficient and good Ghostbusters movie with Melissa McCarthy and Leslie Jones. Um, so, I'm excited to see this. I do like the Ghostbusters movies, although if you rewatch them now, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't hold up so much. But I'm excited for this one because maybe it deals with those things in better ways.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Stranger Things meets Ghostbusters
It
with this
does.
because they got, the Stranger Things kids. And you got, McKenna Grace, who is so talented. So, if she's in it, I'm like, okay, I have high expectations that this will be, hopefully fun and
Yeah.
good to watch. Although I will say I have heard mixed reviews on it.
Oh,
So I'm hoping though that you're right and that it's great.
yeah.
'Cause that would be like a fun one, kind of bringing the Ghostbusters to a little bit of a younger audience.
Yeah. Well, what else you got that you're looking forward to?
The last thing I am looking forward to is this new Amazon Prime show coming out called With Love. It's another Gloria Calderon-Kellett show. She did One Day at a Time. And what's fun about this one is that it is about a Mexican American family living in Portland, and they're kind of past all the points where there's like drama in terms of like, they center the story around um brown and queer Latinos, and there's no like, oh, like I'm coming out, there's no like, oh, will you accept me? It's like we're past that. Everyone already accepts everybody. Now it's just like them living their lives and like, finding love and different things like that. And they're going to be doing it where like each episode is a holiday, which I thought is really fun because you get to basically get to see like queer brown people around Christmas and New Year's and Valentine's Day and, Halloween and all the stuff that like if you were to like just Google that now, like you probably wouldn't find necessarily a movie or something about, that. A family, a brown family having like Christmas as like, a joyful, positive story. Like you probably wouldn't just like search that right now and be able to find something. So I thought that's really cool. And I actually got a chance to chat with Gloria Calderon-Kellett, and she was saying how like they infused a lot of traditions, especially traditions that they feel like they haven't seen on television before. Like especially around like New Year's, they like they do the like maleta walk with like the suitcases, and they eat the grapes, and they do all this stuff that like, I mean, that's not something that we do in my home and for in our Latino culture in mine, but like it's cool to see other people's things and what they do, and I just thought that was really interesting because I like had heard of those things. I just didn't know that people like actually did it, and I'm sure there's other people that haven't heard of it and now they'll get to like experience that on screen, which I think is really cool.
That's awesome. I love Gloria's work. Like I was such a big fan of One Day at a Time. I think she's so, so clever and brilliant. And as you know, struggle with my hatred of the holidays, but you've won me over with it's not just about Christmas.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
interested.
not. It's all
Um,
the holidays, which is
and like
fun.
the cast is amazing.
Oh yeah.
But I will also say, I love seeing other holidays, other traditions, especially because of my dislike of Christmas. I like to see what other people do because
Mhm.
what I feel like is being forced upon everybody for Christmas is this one very specific type of Christmas. And so if you go, no, that's not what it is, I'm like, all right, tell me more. I'm listening.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see like all of their different traditions and things like that, and that like the story. There's you're focused on like two siblings. One is gay, and then you focus on their cousin who's transgender also. So
Oh,
and there's no like I said, no coming out, no like they're just accepted, and I think that's great because we see so many stories of just like, oh, I have to come out, all the struggles, and it's like, well, maybe we want to see what happens after that. Like, where's the positive?
right.
And I love that she wants to show like positive representation in that way.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Speaking of what I think is positive representation, the last thing I have is Big Mouth. There is a new season coming out of Big Mouth. I am so freaking excited. I love this show so much. Honestly, it's so hard for me to explain why, and it's just so funny. It's so relatable. It's funny, and there's a new season, and like we're gonna meet more characters from the human resources department because there's
Mhm.
gonna be a spin-off series, which I'm excited about. Yeah, I'm so stoked for more Big Mouth. Obsessed. The show. Every year just gets me so happy, and I don't know why. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, you love what you love.
Yeah, and that's what you learn in Big Mouth.
Mhm.
Oh, well, that is it for today. We are so excited to be back next week with one of the stars of Doom Patrol joining us. So don't miss that. But before we go, we want to remind you all that the Hollywood Critics Association has a lot of amazing content coming out every week. For example, you could check out Pop Council on Mondays, What to Stream on Thursdays, and so much more. Until next time, Kristen, where are you on the internet and what are you up to these days?
All right, what am I up to? I am just watching all the movies and TV shows like you, Yale, and you can find all my reviews and interviews and stuff at youtube.com/kmaldo, KAYMALDO. I'm Kmaldo everywhere. Add a one at the end, and you'll find me on Instagram. And I also host a podcast called Pop Culture Planet, all about representation and inclusion in Hollywood, as well as have a new site, popcultureplanet.net, if you want to see all of my reviews and interviews and everything all in one place. What about you, Yale?
Awesome. I am everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That is YAELTYGIEL. I have Law and Order S review on Fanversation's YouTube channel on Sundays. I have this show on Wednesdays. I have so much, so much. Just follow me on social media and you'll find it. That's
She's
it.
fucking busy.
So busy. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See ya.